Rack report. The Angry Anchor Man asks, what's my take on the Gucci Man diss situation? I bet you won't answer that. It ain't Rack report, but you know, I usually kind of stay away from the peanut gallery, but let's do it. I usually don't like to touch on. Okay, answer the question. Let me start off by saying this. Now, normally, I don't really condone negativity, or I don't like to indulge in too much of that nonsense too much, but since I'm being pushed and everybody wants to answer I ain't gonna say everybody, but so I'm being pushed to answer a question about another man's issue. I find that very ridiculous, but this is why I don't speak on stuff like this. This ain't no clickbait. I don't know Gucci Man personally. I don't know Pooh Shiesty. I know the mask though. If I can answer the question, let me start off by saying this. Hosea 4:6 reads, my people destroy for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. Hosea 4:6. You ask why I say that? That's the first thing that came to mind about this whole situation. Let me try to bring this into worldly terms, so to speak. First off, prayers for Pooh Shiesty and his family in this difficult time and what probably led to this situation. I don't really want to speak on it. The internet, the peanut gallery, y'all, that's y'all job. I really don't like to speak on another man's problem, but I'm gonna chime in as best as I can. Y'all know the story. This is the reason why we make things like the Rack Report, because this message for all the shorties, I've been watching everybody chime in on it, famous, not famous, and you got two sides. The grown folks side, or the people that can understand from a grown person's perspective. Most grown folks would say Gucci Man did what a civilian would do, the civilized thing to do, which is if somebody commits a crime against you, you report to the proper authorities. And not saying you cooperate, but there is a statement you probably will have to give if you're gonna report a crime being committed against you, as opposed to what snitching really is. And snitching is kind of like, we do something, we both involved, and I tell on you, or you tell on, whatever the case. If we both committing a crime and we get jammed up, or I get jammed up and I tell on you, that's snitching. I'm gonna try to explain this for the people on the outside looking in, so I'm trying to keep it in context. Most people from where I'm from, we come from a common place. Now I know it may not seem that way, but we both come from a common place, and there is a certain code that we abide by. Some will call it the G code, or and there's rules and parameters that you go by, and one of those rules is under no circumstance are you to ever speak to the proper authorities about anything that you can handle yourself. Some would call it street justice, or get back, glick back, whatever the case may be. Now, is that the right way to go as a civilized adult? Probably not, especially if you got a lot to lose. When you're young, you make a lot of undeveloped decisions, more ignorant, the mind is more undeveloped. You operate off emotions instead of logic, instead of using the brain box. Now, yes, you got a lot of grown folks and people with all these different takes, and you're jumping on Pooh Shiesty, or you're jumping on Gucci. Now, why? To your fans, to the culture, to your contemporaries, you know what I mean? Like, you just either divided or you just killed what they call the culture. What do I mean by the culture? I think the only people that's hurt is people that idolize and glorify certain artists, and there's a manual that we read off of when you listen to certain rappers. You like, oh man, this rapper like that. And Guwap was considered one of those people. Now, I'm not gonna get all deep into the story because I think we all know the story, but for the shorties, they don't hold Guwap to the same standard as a certain era of shorties do. When you think of Gucci, Wap pushed out a certain type of message. He made a certain type of music. It was the everyday YN music, takedown music. We went out and you either party, did drugs, drills, whoop ass. He made all that type of music, and the one thing I thought about was like, damn, Wap, you was one of those people that they would consider sticking to a certain code, Snitching was a no-no, and yet 2026, to a certain culture, that would be considered snitching. You broke a lot of hearts, the youngsters that followed you. I ain't gonna say you taught them, but you made it okay and cool to do bad things like robbing, stealing. You broke their hearts, so you're gonna be called all sorts of names. I don't know exactly what you was thinking with the diss, but boy, that was a bad move, man. I never seen a statement for a rap song that's diabolical. I don't know if that was a creative choice. I don't know if you was being pushed to do that by the wifey, or, because you got to do what's right. You got a wife and kids to think about, and to make that kind of decision. You even got other informants, snitches, whatever you want to call it. The dude with the rainbow hair, he's saying, I told you. I seen some shit he said. I'm like, I told you. I told you he's got. For a certain community of people, they want to hang you for the decisions that you made. A civilian would say, you did the right thing. So as a civilian, you did the right thing. This is the part where your past comes back to haunt you. Some would call it karma. As they say, the tongue is mightier than the sword, and the things that you put out, the energy that you put out, sometimes come back to haunt you in ways unmanageable. In that particular instance, now we know the situation. You could have lost your life, or if that allegedly actually happened, but we don't know for sure. We just know what was reported, and now you confirming. Now, I don't know if this is your strategy to hang that young brother. Yeah, he crashed out. Yeah, it was stupid. And yeah, we can dog him and bash him or nothing like that, but this kid is like, what, 24 or 25 years old, and he about to get hung for the rest of his life behind a stupid mistake, along with a few of his counterparts. Did Gucci snitch? Or was he a civilian? Well, he clearly says he's a businessman and he's a civilian. And yes, he has a lot to lose now. Imagine going to jail and it being in it. Not saying he was in the risk of going to jail, but just think, this is a guy, a convicted felon, caught a body, all this other stuff, right? You putting a certain type of energy into the universe. You got people that idolize you and people that hang on your every word, regardless if you might have been in a bad space. Mental health is different. That's not the same Gucci. Your fans, because of the way you talk and you being held accountable and you label yourself a street nigga, a real nigga, a gangster, a killer, whatever the case may be, all these negative depictions of yourself. That's called, technically, that's kind of like self-hate. But sometimes, you know, people gotta go through something in order to grow. And you got a lot of undeveloped minds that you're influencing. You got a lot of people that's out here perpetuating the same negative propaganda until they in that position. And then they probably gonna do the same thing as you. I ain't with all that finger pointing stuff. The way I see what Gucci did was best for his family. He denounced himself as being this guy that y'all still want him to be. He did what he had to do for his family, I guess. Now, do I condone what he? Hell no. I don't know about you, but some of us stand with honor, and we won't really put ourselves in that position. Now, you, according to the rap, you said you standing on business. I get that. But damn, wow, a rap statement? A rap statement. This is a guy, we ain't gonna even follow the lyrics. Now listen, you know, you go to jail a few times, go to the pen a few times. Whole time, you was out of your mind at that time and doing a lot of stuff you shouldn't be doing, crashing out. And this is what people glorify, is the negative side. And I get it, but I'm like, but when you got a whole legion of a cult following that stretches as far as the eyes can see, that's like your favorite artist breaking your heart, you find something crazy about him. Like, imagine your favorite artist of all time just doing something so bad that you can't come back from it. But in that particular world, like when you talk in the streets, that's like one of the major golden rules in the streets is not snitch. As crazy as that may sound, I said streets. I'm gonna put that in context. If you're not in the streets, or if you ever jumped off the porch, or if you ever stood on business in terms of handling business, and I'm not saying that in the sense of the word of violence, but just period, being stand up, being honorable, and accepting your consequences to whatever you accept and whatever you deal with. So if you jump off the porch and you claim to be street, you gotta accept the consequences that come with it. Now, if you're a civilian, we know what's considered civilian behavior. We ain't gonna play dumb here, but my take on it is crazy because it's like, you can look at it from two different sides, and where I stand on it is like, I'm looking at it from no side. You know what I'm saying? That's why I led with the prayer, Hosea 4 and 6, for that reason alone. Yeah, we all make mistakes, and as grown men, we should make better decisions, because we're not perfect. And that goes both ways. You know, everything could be settled with a conversation, a handshake. I always say that. That's when you know you're grown. Like when confrontations arise, we can still have a conversation and have a meeting of the minds instead of us stopping the bag. You know, we all got families to take care of. And that goes on both sides. You know, man, you taking somebody away from their family so you can go home. Even though that shorty made a dumb decision, well, a couple of them shorties made a dumb decision. It's kind of weird, like the father was along with it, but we don't know the circumstances of the situation. All we know is that you owe this kid a lot of money, and he wanted to get out the contract, you know, or I don't care what was taken, I don't care about none of that. But when you standing on certain things and you at a war, it's like almost like you at war with yourself. You really standing at a reflection of what you used to be, and what you used to be come back and haunt you in the form of a Pooh Shiesty and others, allegedly. Did you make a civilian choice? Absolutely. You also made a dumb decision. Or was that a strategy plan to just, okay, now we're gonna talk about it and make a song off of it, make some money off of it? Congratulations. But the large picture is sickening, man. Nobody wins in this situation. The kid made a bad decision, allegedly. I get it, but my answer is Hosea 4 and 6. That's my answer. I could say more, but I'm not gonna waste too much time on this. Cause the peanut gallery, y'all got that color. You know, I'm gonna be quite honest. If I could be quite honest, I really don't give a damn. It's a lot of distractions in this world that I could deal with. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, it's unfortunate of the situation, and I'm not gonna deal with too much of that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really give a damn about this situation. This is for people that, the only ones butt hurt and treating it like a funeral is the people that follow behind that brother. No disrespect. Prayers up for Gucci and his family. Prayers up for Pooh Shiesty and his family. That's how I'm carrying it. Straight like that.
Rack report.